You're watching Pulse on Mirror Now. I'm Amita Balachandra with the run-up to Budget 2018. We're bringing you this show today about what salaried taxpayers actually are demanding from Budget 2018. What are senior citizens demanding from the upcoming budget? That's coming up on the show. We're going to be talking to a couple of salaried professionals and some senior citizens also joining us in just a bit. But also on the show we have today top school in South Goa in the dock. Principal accused of mercilessly beating up a student. Cops book the principal under criminal intimidation. Also on the show, Maharashtra state government set to regulate app-based taxis like Uber and Ola and strong opposition. Uber India moves Bombay High Court. Well, our top focus this evening is what can you and I expect from Budget 2018. In fact, Budget 2017 was a bit of a dampener for salaried professionals, expecting a lot of changes, especially in income tax slabs, but that didn't happen last year. In Budget 2018, what do salaried professionals expect? What do senior citizens expect? That is a question we're asking here on Mirror Now. We're just about a day to go for Budget 2018. A couple of salaried professionals and senior citizens currently join me here in Delhi. Let me begin with you, ma'am. First of all, if you can tell us what is your expectation, whether it comes to income tax slabs or even basic exemption limit. Last year we saw that was a bit of a dampener. In fact, just about 5% reduced there for the minimum tax bracket. But what about the middle class taxpayer?
For middle class taxpayer, reducing the slab just by mere 5% is not enough, first of all, because middle class is the one who's feeding the country at a larger scale. It might look a smaller thing, okay, but in totality, if we look at a middle class taxpayer, okay, they are honest taxpayers, okay, their credibility, everything is accounted for. So they don't hide from taxes nowhere. I mean, it's all black and white money, no gray area. So we are paying the tax and feeding the economy, yet we don't get benefit of it. When it comes to insurance, when it comes to groceries, the only part is what we hear from government is that oil prices are increased. Oil prices increased means affecting household items by leaps and bounds. Okay. Then it comes to insurance, then protecting home. With respect to home loan, with respect to education, with respect to medical, everywhere. We have to churn out our money, hard-earned money. Okay, we pay taxes, then we are burdened with all these overloads by the government through the increased costs. What we are looking for is that first of all, this limit should be further lowered. Okay, and I mean that gap should be more so that we also get a breather.
A very good point there. She says the gap should be more. Now, tell us this. Between 5 and 15 lakh rupee, which is a huge chunk of salaried professionals, end up paying 20%. And that is something that a lot of people want. Would you expect that to happen this time around?
Yeah, most of the middle class as well as the salaried class are all looking for a better deduction in under ATC because, they are the most affected. Many of the people in business class, they know the ways and means, but whereas here in the salaried class, we do not have any other ways and means to, rather no one can hide the income what they are earning. Therefore, whatever they are earning, they should take home something. Having paid almost the entire money towards the tax, I think it is a little bit heavy burden for them. If you see the, 1.5 lakhs which was given earlier, I feel that this is very less compared to the 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs salary which they are getting it. how they will be showing the deduction and what they will take home. If you see the monthly take home pay, it is very, very less comparatively, because 1.5 lakhs is very, very small. Even the public provident fund scheme, it has been included in this 1.5 lakhs. Housing loan. So if all the deductions are included in that one, how do you expect that people will be able to take care of their families? I hope that this time the finance minister will take care of this particular aspect and try to increase the level of the deduction limits. It will be good for the entire country, rather I would like, because young people, salaried class or more.
Section 80C limit, of course, has to be increased, you're saying, but also we're going to come to home loans, which is an essential part of Budget 2018 also. But I'm going to come to you with this question. As a senior citizen, if you can tell us, do you also believe that the basic exemption limit, which is at 3 lakh rupee right now, must be increased?
Yeah, I feel that that is very much required. In view of the fact that now interest rates have gone very low, it has become difficult for the senior citizens, particularly the pensioners, to manage now. Earlier, I used to get around 10,000 rupees as the interest, which has now come down to almost 6,000 rupees. So it's a loss of 4,000. So what I expect that if we get some exemption in the income tax limit, that will be really good for us, and we will be able to, serve a life in a dignified way. Yeah, that's what I expect.
The other point that we also must talk about is the NPS. Now, do you believe that this budget will focus on retirement savings, perhaps remove that tax that is now taxable on maturity?
If we look at it, the organized sector is being given much more care, increase in their pensions, their emoluments, their salaries, but unorganized sector, the senior citizens who have retired from public sector undertakings and other undertakings, EPS 95 is lying with the ministry since years. But the pension revision is still not, even the basics are not formulated and finalized. And as the interest rates are going down, say I am a retired senior executive from Steel Authority of India, I am getting 1,020 rupees pension per month. And EPS 95, which is lying with the ministry for approval, there is no attention drawn to this. Then second thing, what I will say, that senior citizens who are not pensioners, there are no schemes. Interest rates have gone down. The inflation is on the upper side. There is no stability of prices in the market. Today, tomato is having high price, tomorrow onion is there, and then potato is there, and then some other vegetables are there. The stability, government must see that the schemes which are being launched, they are implemented properly and monitoring is done. Even Pradhan Mantri Yojana, I have seen launch for Life Insurance Corporation. I went to the website and I saw the websites are obsolete, not updated. Their office addresses are not proper, their telephone numbers are not up. We are talking of digital India, but the undertaking, they must upgrade their sites.
Fair enough. We're going to come back to a couple of voices here in Delhi, but let me quickly go across to Richa now, who is joining us from Mumbai. Richa, take us through what the major demands are with just a day to go for the budget.
That's right, Amita. I am here with salaried taxpayers here in Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex, and certainly the expectations are quite high. Let's talk to them and know what kind of expectations do they have now. There are just 2 days left till the finance minister announces the budget. So starting with you, sir, every year we see that there is a minimal amount of changes in the tax slabs. So as a salaried professional yourself, what are your expectations from the finance minister this time?
Yeah, we expect that basically the tax structure to be changed quite a lot, because we are using this tax structure for the last 20 years. It is time that the allowances, the basic structure itself has to be changed. We also expect that there should be some revision in the scale of the ATC, which has been there stagnant since a pretty long time.
Right.
So there is a scope for improvement a lot.
Another point here being that do you believe that the finance minister will make sure that there are certain reliefs for the salaried professionals, both in the 5 lakh category or the 10 lakh category or beyond, because they are the ones who are maximum affected when it comes to the tax slabs and the cuts that they have to pay for income tax?
See, I believe that finance minister has got a a big task at hand in this budget, and this has to be a populist budget because of the election coming in. So, given the salary structure or the tax structure per se, he has to give some relief to the the salaried class by increasing the minimum exemption limit. And as my colleague said that yes, the ATC has to go up. It has been like way long. It has been at the same level. So anything that increases the take-home salary, we would be happy.
And what about the savings aspect? Do you still find that the take-home salary does not suffice to your savings that you would like to do because of the income tax or the other deductions that happen?
Yeah, but the savings factor, obviously, that will be the main factor currently in the current budget. But then how to bifurcate that? That is something that FM has got a he's got a big task on his hand.
What about you, sir? Do you think that savings still play a major gap role when it comes to the paying middle class salaried professionals?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you see the saving to GDP ratio, currently it is way low than the other developing countries. And if any breaks are put in terms of say any say for example long-term capital gain taxation coming into effect, it will surely put a brakes on the savings.
Okay. So clearly, Amita, here it seems like the tax-paying professionals in Mumbai want that there should be some drastic changes made in the tax slabs that currently are levied, and they are expecting that they are hoping that they're able to save more than they are right now with the salary that they get currently every month.
Well, changes in tax slabs and increasing basic exemption limit, of course, seems to be the most basic demands of salaried professionals this time around. Risha, thank you so much for getting us those voices. Now, we're going to continue our conversation. One of the gentlemen there in Mumbai mentioned that elections are around the corner, and this time around, it could be a populist budget. Do you also believe
I agree, because for the present government, well, this is a last general budget, and the government would certainly like to please public by giving some concessions. And we senior citizens, we are expecting at least enhancement in exemption limit to 5 lakh. Probably this is the talk around. And then we also expect that interest income, which has been reduced on account of reduction in rate of interest, should be totally exempted from the preview of income tax. This is when we retire, we are getting our retirement funds, which are already taxed, and this for our day-to-day subsistence, we put in bank deposits, and the interest rates have gone by at least 1/3. We were getting earlier 10%, it has come down to 6.5%, or even some places 6%. We'd like that the interest income which we earn should be totally exempted. Last year, the senior citizens were not given any concession. For the general public, they enhanced from 2.5 lakh to 3 lakh, but for senior citizens, it remained 3 lakh. So we were given zero benefit last year. This year, we should be compensated. Should be brought to 5 lakh, and then plus I also think that under exemptions, up to 10,000 rupees, savings bank interest is exempted under section 80 TTA. This is long overdue, because it started 7-8 years back, and most of the senior citizens keep the money in savings deposit, because they may require any amount under urgency. And saving deposits now earn only 3.5%. Earlier we were getting 4%. So what we expect that this 10,000 limit, which is for savings bank interest amount, should at least be doubled, so that whatever money we are keeping for our basic requirements in savings should earn some sufficient interest.
But do you also believe that this time around insurance perhaps also should be given more prominence, because premium on life insurance is just about 25,000 and 35,000 for senior citizens or not? Should it be given prominence?
Yes, this ATC limit where the LIC premium account, that should be increased from 1.5 lakh to 2.5 lakh, number one. As we were talking about the senior citizen, Now the senior citizen gets 0.5% extra over the normal FD. But I feel because of the reduction in rates and the inflation, this 0.5% should be increased to 1.5% extra. And standard deduction, which was earlier there 10 years back, should also be brought down. It will help the both service class as well as pensioner also. So these 3 points are there. But
As a pensioner, आपकी क्या उम्मीद है?
I am retired pensioner, government pensioner, and I earn from the FD's interest only, and my expectation from tomorrow's budget is that exemption limit should be increased to 5 lakhs, and moreover, further expectation is there that we are getting pension. Pension should not be treated as income because these are deferred wages which should not be taxed.
I have just about 2 minutes left on the conversation. Before we end, if we can get in a word from you, we're talking about home loans. There's a lot of talk about Vision 2022. There's a lot of talk about affordable housing and interest cap on under construction properties. At least is just about 2 lakh rupee. That, do you believe, should be increased? There should be more push for affordable housing.
Absolutely. If only it is increased, there will be investment in housing properties, and especially young people who have completed 5 to 10 years of service, they are all interested in taking a home. And if this limit is not increased, I hope that people will be disappointed and it will not be an incentive for investment in a home. Yeah, so we should be increased. Yeah.
And I'm going to get in one last word from you. If you can tell us what else do you require in this budget that we didn't see in the last budget?
Well, in this budget, first of all, I would like that insurance capping should be further, that amount should be reduced, that premium amount, which is quite high against the, insured amount. It is very, very high for individuals. For corporate, yes, they are extending too many benefits. But for individuals, benefits are very limited. As you were talking about home loans, okay, if we consider the point, then there are most of the properties by builders who are under construction and not yet been delivered since 2008. Okay, so they were to deliver. They are almost delayed by 7 to 8 years. We are paying interest on that also, and that amount is unaffected by any of the budget. So government should at least exempt those properties or put a minimum possible amount of rate of interest, so that we are not sufferers. The buyers are not sufferers because they are paying rent also. They are not getting the property. They are paying EMI also to the bank at higher rates. So that should be under consideration for government.
All right, so that is the biggest takeaway that's coming in from salaried professionals and senior citizens here, saying that, of course, increasing basic exemption limit, rejigging tax slabs, and most of all, Section 80C deduction limit must also be increased. These are the most basic demands that people have here. With that, let's also now take a look at what else is making news today. News coming in from Maharashtra. We understand that the government is all set to regulate Ola and Uber, bringing it under the Maharashtra City Taxi Rules 2017. Himanshi files the story.
As far as Ola Uber is concerned, it is very lovable person for all the media, Ola and Uber. You never care for our everyday daily earning of the poor people of Philippines. They should be safeguarded, but we have taken a view and we are going to control MMRDA section by Ola Uber converting into city taxi. So there will be some restriction on it.
Now all the Uber and Ola, after if they are regularized by by the state government. Now they have to fix their particular fares over here. Now this, what state government is telling us, is this is to safeguard the Kali Pili taxis which already apply, because the livelihood of Kali Pili taxis are at stake, because obviously people have a priority, because there is a kind of ease for the people that they can actually connect, and there is no denial from the driver to go if they want to go somewhere. So these are the kind of problems of what Ola and Uber are facing, and hence they have approached the High Court as well. And what they are saying is that this is absolutely unconstitutional, arbitrary on the part of state government, that they regularize this particular platform or all other aggregator taxi services.
Government generally spoils things. I don't think government really helps anything normally. I mean, I'm not being cynical, but best way is that you upgrade the Kalapilas to app-based taxis. What government can do is to develop and maybe spend some money, which is small amount of money, 1 or 2 crore, which is nothing for government, real chicken feed. So they'll develop an official, very reliable, good quality, comparable app. It's not easy. Let me tell you one thing. App-based, their applications keep on getting improving. If you are using them, you'll realize how their same apps of Uber and Ola are getting better than what they were 1 year back. They keep on improving, so that needs to be done. And so I would feel if all vehicles are app-based, that will be the day.
Well, moving on to Mirror Now exclusive. Now, Executive Editor Faye D'Souza is in conversation with Senior Congressman Shashi Tharoor. Listen in.
Your vocabulary has become something of pop culture. There was a BuzzFeed quiz. Can you tell us what the meanings of these words are that Shashi Tharoor uses on a regular basis? What's your response to that?
Well, I was amused, I must say, initially. Because
you saw the quiz?
Yeah, it was sent to me by various people, and when Barkha Dutt tweeted it, I think a lot of people suddenly started taking this quiz, and then in my mentions, their scores started popping up. Yes. So I realized it was on. Let me just say that I don't use words to show off. I don't use words for any effect other than what the meaning of the word should convey in terms of embodying my thought precisely. I just read a lot. I've never studied a dictionary in my life. I grew up in India without television, without Nintendo, without computers, without mobile phones.
Maybe that's
all
why.
I had were books. And all I had were books, and so I read books extensively. You come across a word in 5 different books, you'll pretty much figure out the meaning without having to go to any great effort of bugging up a dictionary. Somebody actually came and said, "So do you study 5 words in a dictionary every day?" And I said, "No, I don't. I actually, hardly ever need to consult a dictionary because my vocabulary comes from very extensive reading, and that's all."
Well, I have to ask you this question. The Delhi police investigation into your late wife's death has taken now 4 years.
4 years.
Why do you believe it's taking so long? What is your comment on that
Well,
case?
I would dearly like to know, because as you can well imagine, the family, her son, her brothers, and myself have been deeply, deeply anxious for closure for quite some time. 4 years is a very long time, and I feel particularly victimized by the length of the process because all the innuendo and nastiness that's been flung about by certain malicious people targets me. Now, as far as I know, in these 4 years, the police have not established any crime or murder or suicide or any of this nasty stuff that's been bandied about in the media. So all I can say is that, I'm cooperating fully with anything they are investigating. But at some point, one would look forward to their coming to a conclusion and sharing it and explaining what that conclusion is based on. Only then would one be free to speak freely about the experience of the last 4 years.
Well, with that, we're wrapping things up here on Pulse on Mirror Now. We come back with more news and updates.
I may work for another 5 years and not more. So I would want that the interest rates in the banks that have been reduced should come back up.